All right, I was actually preparing to have my longtime partner, Jochen, here right next to me, but unfortunately I think one of his childs got a little bit sick, so he had to stay home. So Jochen, welcome from home. Great to have you here.
Thanks for having me, and sorry I can't be there in person, but I did miss the bus. I actually had planned to take the bus this morning from Munich to Zurich, so I indeed did miss the bus.
Yeah, actually this is the first bus that I took myself from Munich to Zurich. Okay, maybe you can introduce yourself, quite briefly, and then we jump on to the first block of questions regarding the pandemic, because I think this was a very extraordinary time with a lot of ups and lows and huge experiences. And then we go a little bit into the topic of the conference, meaning sustainability. So maybe to Mr. Bus, short intro.
Sure. Thanks, David. So as I said, I'm Jochen, one of the founders of Flix. We started this business over 10 years ago, which has been quite a journey. We built this based on the deregulation in Germany. Figured there needs to be an alternative to existing means of travel, to expensive train tickets, to not great for the economy flights, and obviously to your own car. That was the initial hypothesis. Built this ever since. We're now in 40 countries all across Europe. We conquered North America, meanwhile, launched in Brazil, are continuing to expand across the world. And our vision is smart and green mobility for everyone to experience the world. So this experience piece, I guess, unites us a bit with Tao from Get You Got Before. And thanks for Tao for mentioning us in terms of figuring out the logistics and transportation piece and travel. This is what we're all about, and this is what our team is motivated on. And we're really about bringing more affordability and sustainability into travel. And that's what we've been working on for many, many years and for the next decades to come.
Perfect. I mean, I still remember the days, I think it was 2013, where we invested. And the first question of Jochen is, why is back then Holzbrink Ventures investing into buses? I said because the market is big, and my mother actually took one of the first buses from Freiburg to Munich. So I said this is much of proof for the model in general. So I would say the first 6 or 7 years were dominated by growth, hyper growth. I would say also a lot of M&A behavior to improve margins and everything. And then 2020, actually, right before my birthday, and I was actually planning my birthday because I thought that this COVID thing would not last for very long and would not shut down everything. We actually experienced demand reduction in our weekly numbers. So I think maybe you could quickly guide us through this very unique experience of that time.
Yeah, absolutely. And I mean, I guess apart from conferences, we're probably one of these industries that were hit the most by the pandemic. And I think we all share this experience of all of us underestimated what was going to happen back then. And we were on track to continue to grow very strongly. We were like January, February 2020, we were like 50% above 2019 levels. In 2019, we've done roughly $1 billion in revenue, somewhere there, so over 60 million passengers. And have continued to grow very strongly. And then suddenly we've seen the impact of the pandemic, of infection numbers going up, and all the government measures that came in Italy first. So Italy is one of our biggest markets. And I still remember well our managing director locally sending me pictures from empty shelves and people being in panic, and everybody sort of had to stay home and stuff. And of course, this impacted demand for us. So for us, it was really what we had built over many, many years felt like it disappeared within a few days. So the business immediately stopped. Like within a few days, we had to pause the entire network across all these countries, tell our bus partners who are operating the fleet for us, look, we can't travel, we can't offer our product right now. You need to sort of keep your buses home in your depots. We all need to wait and see what's gonna happen, and obviously put the health of our customers, of our drivers, of our team first. And had to stop the entire network, and this was dramatic. So it certainly took us quite some time to figure out what's actually happening. So we went through all the emotional roller coaster around: are we actually going to survive this? What's going on out there? All this uncertainty, and I guess that's the the most difficult part is really the uncertainty when you just don't know what's going on and how long this is going to take and how bad it's going to be. And this was something that we had to manage with the team. And I think this is, again, coming back to, I think also why founders are sort of building businesses. I think we managed ultimately to get the team behind the long-term vision still. So we tried to tell them, look, this is going to be a phase that we need to work through. That's going to be something that's ultimately going to make us stronger. But we need to take harsh measures in the meantime, and this is going to be tough. So this is really about survival. And I think looking back in hindsight now, and very glad that we're in 2022, and I can say in hindsight, this is much longer than we thought this would take. But the reaction of the team was just simply fantastic. Like all the passion they brought to the table, all the energy, all the resilience they brought to the table to ultimately help us survive through this period was simply incredible. And I think a bit like what Tao has described before, we had to be super focused on what's really, really key for us in this period, which was first save as much cash as possible, get the cost down, be very, very frugal, be very sort of cost conscious, and turn around every dollar that we were spending 3, 4, 5 times before we would actually spend it. Obviously help our partners navigate through this pandemic, try to be there as good and fair partners, try to be supportive. And at the same time, continue to work on what kind of company can we be and should we be post-pandemic, because we knew this post-pandemic world would come. We just didn't know when. So we figured we need to continue to invest in the team in general, so try to sustain as much of the team as possible. Try to also continue to invest into technology, because in any case, a leaner, more efficient, more automated platform would be of value for us, regardless how the future would look like. So that's what we've done. And then, of course, at some point we figured everybody in this industry is suffering, and we just got to make sure that first we survive, and this in itself is going to be differentiating, and is going to be a competitive advantage. And second, how do we sort of make the most out of the situation and try to ultimately also win market share even through this crazy period of time. But I mean, for sure, it's been an incredible learning experience. But looking back, I wouldn't mind having not had 2.5 years of this dramatic time in our history. But it is what it is. And I think we ended up really coming out stronger and made the most out of it.
Yeah, I think, during the time when we were really looking at unit economics, improving processes, automation, everything, which we started actually right when the pandemic started, so mid or beginning of 2020. This is what actually a lot of our companies currently do in 22, after the public markets kind of crashed. So I think you did first what basically every startup at the moment does, look at this efficiency gains. So I think if you want to see anything about it from the positive perspective, this is definitely something where we started early. And as always, in such turbulent times, there is opportunities right and left, because the fear level is at max. So what type of opportunities did you grasp in the last 37 seconds? This is very scary, the time here. So really quickly.
No, for us, it was really about what's the opportunity in this. And certainly, as I said, we came out in a leaner, more automated, more efficient company. And then ultimately, I mean, we ended up buying Greyhound. So we really took this opportunity with both hands, grabbed it, and made sure that we were consolidating the markets. And Greyhound certainly was the big, bold move that we've made. And really for us, this is transformational. Like, we've immediately consolidated the US market. We bought a business that was doing over $700 million in revenue pre-pandemic. We continue to rebuild it now in a more efficient, leaner, and much better way. And as I said, it helped us to ultimately build this truly global business. And now, I think if we look at current financials, we've never seen the business in such a strong shape. So we're more than 50% bigger than we were in 2019. So 2022 is going to be significantly bigger. And we're on a clear path to also be profitable with the entire business. If you take the first quarter with the Omicron wave aside, we would already be there. And I think this is fantastic to see. So I think that's just the sort of the result of all the hard work that we and the team have put in there. And it's, as I said, incredible to see this play out. That all the tough work, all the passion, all the blood, sweat, and tears that we put in there is paying off now.
All right. Thank you we are out of time. Sustainability question we will follow up
That's
with
correct.
in written form. Sorry about that. All right, Jochen, have a nice day. Bye.
Thanks.
Ciao,
David.
Jochen.
Good
Thank
to-
you.